Okay, so talking about radians, let's first talk about like what degrees are, because that's what we've been measuring angles with. So a degree is an angle measurement where 360 degrees is your full circle. And the symbol for degrees is the degree symbol. Radians are also a way to measure angles. The same way we use feet and meters to measure distance, radians is just another way to measure angles, and oftentimes it's more useful mathematically. And a radian measurement, it's based on the circumference of the circle, or of the unit circle. It's based on the radius of a circle. So um, a radian is an angle measurement based on the circumference of the unit circle, and a full circle is 2 pi. And for radians, there is no unit symbol. So if you forget your unit symbol and you're writing degrees, then it's going to look like radians. So it's important to remember those when you're working with these. And so where this comes from, it's the amount of times that you can fit the radius of a circle into the circumference of a circle, which is always going to be pi, or it's going to be 2 pi. Pi is going to be half the circumference. There's actually like a lot of criticism for ancient mathematicians where they should have just made it pi as the whole circle, but that's a whole different thing. But so for the unit circle, it ends up equaling pi. So there are pi radians in half a circle and 2 pi radians in a full circle for the unit circle. So I'm just going to give some conversions so we know how to convert from radians to degrees so we can work with them, and we'll definitely explore more how to use these. So the main conversion factor is going to be that pi equals 180 degrees. Half a circle is pi. So if you want to convert to radians, you're going to multiply by pi over 180. And then to convert to degrees, you would just multiply by 180 degrees over pi. Now where these come from is just since pi equals 180 degrees, this is actually equal to 1. So you can multiply any angle by that and it's still equal to itself. Like 45 degrees times 1 equals 45 degrees, right? Well, if I can rewrite that 1 as 45 degrees times pi over 180 degrees, what happens is, well, the degrees cancel out. So now you have your unit is radians. This is technically radians, but we don't write a unit for it. So then you have 45 times pi radians divided by 180, and that would end up equaling, let's see, 45 is 1/4 of 180, so this would be pi over 4. And this is how we're going to write radians. We're going to always write them as fractions. Anyway, that's where these conversion factors come from. It's when two things are equal. You can multiply by them and then cancel out the units the way you would cancel out numbers that are equal to each other. And that's a big thing if you ever get into engineering. All right, so let's look at some examples. We've got negative 45 degrees. Let's convert this to radians. So -4, I just did that with positive, but so we're going to multiply that times pi radians over 180 degrees. Our degrees cancel, and then you get negative 45 pi over 180, and this equals pi over 4. Negative pi over 4, sorry. And then same thing with 240 degrees. So that should be times pi radians over 180 degrees. And that's going to equal 4 pi over 3. So you're going to simplify as far as you can. At some point, you're probably going to see the same numbers over and over. Like we'll see 4 pi over 3 a bunch. 240 was one of the numbers on our unit circle. So it's 330. So 330 degrees times pi over 180 degrees. Remember, those units cancel. And then you have 330 pi over 180. Probably divide them both by like 30, and you'd get 11 pi over 6. So now let's use the other conversion factor. Let's go from degrees to radians. So we've got pi over 3. Well, this one's actually a little easier. We don't have to use our conversion factor. We know that pi equals 180, so we can just rewrite this as pi over 3 is equal to 180 degrees over 3, and that equals 60 degrees. So sometimes it'll be easier going in this direction. And you can do the same thing here. You could say, well, this is the same as 3 times 180 degrees over 2, and that's going to equal 180 over 2 is 90. 3 times 90 is 270 degrees. And then 2, this is something where you would have to, since we don't have a pi in here, we're going to have to use our conversion factor. So we're going to do 2 times 180 degrees over pi. That's 360 degrees over pi, which equals about 114.59 degrees. If you put it in a calculator. So that